Second, yesterday we were 1-1. Frankly, we're in the dog days of summer. Baseball gets to be a little bit of a grind. You have to find the value plays. It's all about building your bankroll over a long period of time slowly. Whereas football, I love NFL. Cannot wait for NFL to start tomorrow. We got our podcast tonight. That'll be great. We're going to break down the games on the podcast with our kind of power users, the guys that are always on our Discord channels, and the guys that are actively building models on this site, right? So. Anyway, that community is pretty kick-ass. Anyway, for today's game, we have two games for you. I love these games, not because I would say these are super high probability bets, but because they're both dogs, and dogs with plus money is always nice, especially in baseball. There's a lot of value there. So where are the games at? First game, I got Miami today, plus 130. Let me find it. Actually, plus 120. It's dropped a little bit, it looks like now, since I did it my notes earlier this morning. Miami at plus 120. Predictive confidence is at 45. The Dodgers are at 29. You've got plus 16. It was plus 22 earlier when I did my notes. Look at the game a little closer. The Passan model has a predictive run of 5-4 in the Dodgers, so I'm going against the Passan model, but that's okay. Algorithms are not always right. Let's look at the pitchers. Lance Lynn. Lance Lynn is got a whip of 1.40 over the course of the season. I did my analytics today on the last 10 days. Sometimes I'll do a month, sometimes I'll do a week. I like to do different kind of windows of time to kind of see how the data looks. Today I did 10 days. So Lance Lynn at a whip of 1.4 has, and that range has a 45% win percentage over those 10 days at 17 and 21 and negative 1.8 units. Not really good or bad, just kind of middle of the road, honestly. His ERA is 5.81. That has actually got a win percentage of 31% over the last 10 days at 16 and 35 and negative 14 units. So his ERA is bad. And pitchers with that type of ERA have been getting beat over the last 10 days. The Miami pitcher has a whip of 1.23, which has a 59% win percentage, much better, almost 60% at 36 and 25 and negative 0.12 units, mostly because there's some teams out there that probably are minus 250 and things like that, which will hurt you. His ERA is 3.78 with a win percentage of, 49% over the last 10 days at 21 and 22 and negative 4.1 units. This guy has one game started, not a big track record. Lance Lynn, the Dodgers are tough. This guy is a veteran that's got a unattractive ERA and whip. You're banking on the home team. Let's look at the home teams for a minute. 39 and 31 at home. Dodgers are 37 and 29 on the road. Both these teams are getting, I believe, 32 points for their home and road records, so that's a wash. Let's look at the split percentage. We're down to 29%. It was actually at 32% earlier when I did my notes, which had a 44% win percentage at 24 and 30, negative 1.3 units. Home dogs over the last 10 days are at 41% at 23 and 33 at negative 7 units. Really, we're taking the plus 120. We're taking the value. We're banking on this pitcher holding his ground. And we're banking on the fact that Miami's relatively good home team. The last 10 games, pretty much 5-5, 6-4. We'll call that a wash as well. So we're taking the Miami game here for a unit, 1.5 units if you like. The next game we have is Detroit, which is right below it. This one I like even more. I'm going to bet 2 units on this one myself. The Yankees have been less than stellar this year at 69-69. I mean, obviously they're better than Detroit, but the Yankees are kind of giving up. We're in the final weeks of the baseball season, and the Yankees are just not performing. Even the predictive confidence on this one, which is amazing, has basically Detroit at 42%. It has the Yankees at 23%. We're at plus 19. On the predictive confidence, and that's basically because, I mean, look at this, it's all pitching. The player stats for Detroit are not good. Detroit's not a good offense. Go down here and look at the Yankees. They're a good home run hitting team, middle of the road on strikeouts, and their pitcher has a pretty good whip, but his ERA is not stellar. Anyway, let's look at that a little closer. So Manning, he's got a 1.03 whip. That's at 59%, like I stated before. His ERA at 3.62 is at 49%, whereas Schmidt has a 1.34 whip is at 45% over the last 10 days, and his ERA at 4.56 is at 31%. So the New York pitcher has less than 50% probability on both of those metrics. If you break down the last 10 games, again, 4-6 on Detroit, that's 42% over the last 10 days, those teams. The Yankees are at 7-3. They're playing a little better, which is 60% over the last 10 days. Away dogs, teams that are on the road that are not favored, are at 46% over the last 10 days at 27 and 32 at 4.8 units plus. So even though they're not winning half the games, they're getting paid on the juice, so they're actually making you money. The split has dropped. It actually went from 41 to 42%, still the same range. Those teams are in that 41 to 50% range of the split, are hitting 50% over the last 10 days at 12 and 12, and actually minus 2.1 units. Home run records, we're going to call that a wash. 34 and 35, 37 and 33. In the model I have, they get 32 points apiece, so it's a wash on that. So neither one of these teams are like heavy favorites. They're actually underdogs. That's why the sportsbook has them that way. I'm putting 2 units on Detroit, putting 1 to 1.5 on Miami. Let's hope these dogs hit. A couple of weeks ago, I had a couple of heavy dogs like this where they were like 1 plus 130, 140, 150, whatever it was, and hit those. I love playing these games. Even if you hit 1 out of 2, you still make money, right? If you bet the same amount. So there's some upside here. Good luck, folks. Have a good weekend. Hope to see you on the podcast this evening. That's it. Bye.